Everybody thinks Ippo is sitting on the bench because he's scared of CTE or because his mom or Kumi told him to stop fighting. You think bro is just a broken man holding a bucket and a towel? You think he's terrified of getting his brain scrambled? Stop it, man. The real reason Ippo refuses to return to the ring is the most mind-boggling and demonic thing in history. Ippo is not retired. He is running the biggest scam in the entire boxing world. And he's currently in his what I call the Shadow Demon arc, using his helpful, chill guy persona to hack the software of every world champion without taking a single blemish on his record. First of all, active Ippo. This is why bro was actually trash. To understand why Ippo won't come back yet, you have to look at why he actually lost to Guevara. When Ippo was an active boxer, what was his actual strategy? My man was a blind bull rusher with a chin made of hopes and dreams. His defensive head movement was non-existent. He would literally let world rankers rearrange his facial bones for 7 rounds just so he could get inside and launch one Dempsey roll. Why was he fighting like that, man? Because his motivation was completely fraudulent. Look at his inner monologue during those final fights. Was he saying, I want to break Ricardo Martinez? No. He was saying, I want to show the coach the new Dempsey roll. I want to prove Coach Kamogawa's boxing works. He was trying to show his pop-pop the new backflip instead of trying to commit murder in the ring. When you step onto the world stage against southpaws who are fighting to feed their families, fighting for external validation is a terminal disease. That's why Guevara sparked him. That's why his body shut down. He didn't only have accumulated damage, he ran out of borrowed gas. And now let's get into the helpful guy loophole. So what did Ippo do the second he retired and put on the trainer's jacket? He unlocked the most dangerous phrase in Hajime no Ippo. I just want to be helpful. Oh no! Did you hear that? In Ippo code, this means I'm about to test if your ribcage is bulletproof while wearing jeans. Why sign a contract, cut weight, and deal with boxing commissions when you can just show up at your rivals' gyms and terrorize them for free? Look at the Volk incident. Volk is the literal IBF junior lightweight world champion, man. Bro is an apex predator at the absolute top of the food chain. He has a title defense coming up and here comes Ippo in his casual clothes wearing his Rock Lee ankle weights. What happens next? Ippo steps into the ring and moves with a force that could derail a freight train. Volk throws his signature world-class combinations. And what does retired Ippo do? He slips the jab, he parries the white fang, he reads Volk's timing like he wrote the instruction manual. And then Ippo initiates a Dempsey roll so fast and so violent that Sando had to step in to save Volk. And I'm telling you, Volk's coach was tweaking. That was more than a spar, man. That was Ippo testing his new hardware on a world-class dummy. And now to the Mashiba southpaw violation. If you thought the Volk spar was crazy, look at what bro did to the eyebrow Grim Reaper Mashiba. Mashiba is preparing for his world title fight against Rosario. So what does Ippo do? He goes to the river, hits a piece of wood and teaches himself how to fight southpaw. Because simple training is the best training. When Ippo shows up at Mashiba's gym, Itagaki takes Ippo's wrist and ankle weights off. We hear them hit the canvas like cinder blocks. Bro just opened the 8 Mara gates. Mashiba's coach thinks Ippo is just a blind infighter who's gonna stumble over his own lead foot. But things have changed, my man. Ippo steps in light as a feather. Mashiba throws a lightning flicker jab, a punch that used to torture Ippo and Kimura back in the day. And what does Ippo do now? He doesn't block it with his forehead anymore. He slips to the outside of Mashiba's lead leg, the exact spot where a southpaw becomes your worst nightmare. And then he lands a body shot that sounds like a car crash, holds back, and throws an overhand left from the gutters. It hits Mashiba's guard like a 5,000-pound brick falling from the sky. And the man was genuinely terrified because he knew that overhand left would have taken his head off clean. Mashiba's coach even says Ippo didn't have this distance or this rhythm when he was active. He might actually be stronger now than when he was fighting. Every single character in the manga is telling you what's happening. All this praise would mean nothing if bro wasn't coming back. And now to the supercomputer upgrade. Ippo's retirement is a hyperbolic time chamber. When he was fighting, Ippo had tunnel vision. His ring IQ was maybe 20 out of 100. He didn't understand pacing, he didn't understand how to manage distance, and his left hand was just a basic measuring tool. Retirement stripped away his bad habits and forced him to learn boxing from the outside in. By standing in the corner as a second, holding mitts and watching tape, his boxing IQ skyrocketed. His defense. No more face blocking. He mastered parrying, slipping, and controlling the outer angle. His left hand. It's not a measuring tape anymore. It's an orbital cannon capable of controlling world rankers by itself. And his condition. He is 100% healed from his accumulated fatigue, and he wears his wrist and ankle weights everywhere he goes. I would even say mechanically he's twice as fast and twice as strong as the guy who fought Alfredo Gonzalez. He upgraded his operating system from Windows 95 to a military-grade supercomputer, and he did it without taking a single punch to the brain. Well, almost. And now, Takamura's line and the Ricardo Martinez equation. So here is the million-dollar question. If Ippo is sparking world champions in practice, why is he still saying no? Why won't he just sign the contract? Because of Takamura's line in the dirt. Before Ippo retired, Takamura drew a literal line in the grass and told him, if your motivation is just to see how far you can go, don't cross the line. Most people think Takamura was being a hater. No. Takamura knows that the top of the featherweight division is ruled by a lonely, untouchable demon named Ricardo Martinez. In the world title stratosphere, you cannot survive on let's do our best energy. A true monster in boxing isn't a schizo savage like Brian Hawk. A monster is someone with absolute ego and self-sovereignty. Someone who fights because they need to prove their own existence. Ippo knows, man, deep down in his bones, that his mind is still human. Whenever he runs past that riverbank, he physically jogs around Takamura's line because his conscience won't let him step over it until his inner fire is 100% selfish. Right now, he's watching his entire generation get fed to the meat grinder. He watched Wally and Mashiba give their health, and he's watching Sendo walking into a bloodbath. He is collecting data. He is watching how the world level reacts to absolute violence. He won't only come back because Kamogawa gets sick. He won't come back because Kumi gives him permission. That would just be another external guilt trip. He will only return when he looks in the mirror and realizes, I am the only one standing in my own way. I need to know what it feels like to crush the strongest man on earth. The trigger is already being pulled, man. Every time Ippo steps into a gym just to be helpful, he gets a little more aggressive. Every time he hits the mitts, Kamogawa feels the basement shaking. The day Ippo walks into the Kamogawa gym, drops the trainer clipboard, takes off those 8 Mara Gates ankle weights, and looks at the coach without apologizing, it is over for the featherweight division. This ain't the Boy Scout who absorbs jabs with his forehead anymore. They're getting a technical switch hitter with 0 ring rust, a titanium chin, elite defensive head movement, and punching power that breaks ribs. He refuses to return right now because he's still building the beast in the shadows. But the second that foot steps over Takamura's line in the grass, you better call an ambulance for whoever is standing in the opposite corner, bro. Because Ippo won't be coming to help anymore. He's coming to collect.